entertaining our delegation from West Cork with a turkey dinner. A New England Thanksgiving dinner. A little early, but we're just hoping that they see an American custom. We're trying to expose them to as much of an American way of life as we can. We're doing Friday night lights, Friday night at the Scituate High School football game. We had a welcoming reception last night at the Yacht Club, which was lovely. Well, let me start with today that is fresh in my mind. Today we picked them up at 8:30, went to the Kennedy Library. They adored it. And then we went to lunch at the BC Club, which is on the 36th floor of a building with gorgeous views of Boston. Then we went to the State House where Patrick O'Connor took us on a tour. And then to the Irish Consulate in Copley Square for tea and cookies. And now we're having our turkey dinner. Yesterday we went on a tour of Scituate, and we did both the historic and scenic parts in the rain, but they're Irish, they're used to it. Then we ended that at the Mossing Museum with Peter Mahegan acting as docent, and Peter Mahegan was a Mosser. So that was fun, and Steve Litchfield from the Historic Society added a great deal of detail. Then we went to Beer Bistro in Cohasset and had a magnificent lunch cooked by our committee member, Brian Houlihan, who has just returned from being a guest chef at a Taste of West Cork Ireland. Then we went to a ceremony honoring those lost in the St. John's Brig shipwreck, and that was very, very moving. There were 143 on board, the same as the 143 of Minor Light, and 16 passengers survived and 10 crew of the 143. And of the 16 passengers who survived, all but one went home to Ireland. It was so devastating. It was a coffin ship that came during the famine. The conditions were not great, but they came from Galway, and the passengers were from Galway and Clare. My great-grandmother came 3 years before that on the same route as the St. John's Brig from Galway, from Inisheer in the Aran Islands. She was 8 years old, but they made it. And then after that, we went to the Yacht Club for the welcoming reception.
Great.
So we had a full day yesterday and a full day today.
Busy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me how you picked West Cork to be the Scituate sister city?
Yes. My family came from Inisheer and the gateway to West Cork, so I have a particular kinship with there. But it was chosen before I got on board. And apparently, lots of places in Ireland were invited to become sister city, and it was the response from West Cork that was the most compelling, and that is why it was chosen. My great-grandfather came from Inishannon in County Cork. He was 2 years old when he came with his mother and father and his older brother, and that was in 1852 just at the tail end of the famine. And they came from Cove to Boston. And I actually knew him, even though he came in 1852. He died in 1945. And I was born in 1942. And I don't know if it's the stories that the family told and the pictures that he's so real to me, or whether it's a real memory. But I seem to remember his mustache tickling my cheek. And he was quite a wonderful, wonderful man. I have in the census that when he was 8 years old, he was working in a leather tanning place. And but he and my great-grandmother celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary So it was quite something.
So why don't we just start with an easy question? Tell me about what it's like to live in Cork, Ireland.
Well, it's very different to here. The town I'm living in is, or just outside, has a population of 3,200, so very different to here. So it's made up of, where we're from is kind of West Cork Municipal District, so it's a number of little towns. So that's what's actually twinned with Scituate. But it's a fabulous place to live. Very easygoing, but very picturesque as well, you know. So.
Yeah, I live in a town or a village called Rosscarbery. It's about 20 minutes from Skibbereen and 15 minutes from Clonakilty. There's about 1,500 people in the town area, you know, or the village area, so it's fairly small, very coastal. A bit like Scituate, we get an awful lot of visitors during the summer because we live in such a beautiful place as well. But, you know, I used to live in Dublin, and its quality of life is fantastic there, that it's so easygoing, you know, the people are laid back, sometimes a little bit too laid back, but it's, I wouldn't swap, I wouldn't live anywhere else.
I live in Skibbereen, which again is a town of about 3,000, the same as Bantry. We're probably the last biggest town before you reach the Mizzen Head, which is the next port for America. It's the next point, the last point in Ireland for America. Again, I suppose it's a beautiful place to live, and it's very relaxed. And I'm living there 37 years, and I love it. Yeah.
Favorite thing about Ireland? Or living where you live?
Definitely the scenery. And the people. There's a great sense of community. It's a lovely place to live, to bring up children. But having said that, I mean, Scituate, our experience with Scituate is that you have a great community spirit as well, you know. So, but I think the scenery and the people, I think.
I would agree. Yeah, the people, the scenery, the way of life, not the weather. If we could swap a bit of the weather, but yeah, the scenery, the food. Yeah, the food is fantastic, and the crack. We love life, we enjoy ourselves. Something, again, we have in common with people in Scituate, I think.
I suppose my favourite thing is just the community spirit. People look after each other. Some might think it's nosiness, but it's not. People just look after each other, and it's a great place to live. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing that you've done in Scituate? Or I know you guys went to Boston yesterday. What was your favorite thing you've done so far?
Gosh, that's a really difficult question because we've done so much. We only landed the night before last, but we've done so much. I feel like I've been here a week. But it's been amazing. We had a fabulous tour of Scituate yesterday. Really, it was really interesting. There was so much information. And we went to the John F. Kennedy Library today, and that was amazing as well. If I had to, I don't think I actually could choose. You know, I've actually really, really enjoyed my time here. Yeah, we've been made really welcome. And I was saying to someone today back home that, you know, we actually feel like the royal family, or, you know, like we're really being treated so well, you know.
Yeah, I think it's been, I mean, I couldn't pick one thing, but meeting so many Irish people last night, a lot of them from Kerry, which, you know, maybe not such a good thing, but so many people that have such a, you know, a fondness and are so passionate about Ireland, you know, something that we take for granted has been, you know, eye-opening. It's been, you know, brilliant.
Like the girls, I don't think I can pick any specific of the things we've done, but it's been an amazing. The people here are just so friendly. It's just, but I suppose the JFK Library today was for us being Irish and our contact with JFK, and I think that was very special. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the Mayor of the County of Cork. It's the largest county in Ireland with a population of about 460,000. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility, fairly busy job. We have a huge county. It's nearly 3 hours from one end to the other to drive it. So I'm in West Cork, which means I'm about an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half from our centre of our main headquarters. So it's a lot of travelling.
A lot bigger than here in Scituate. Tell me your favorite thing about being here in America so far this trip.
It's been the hospitality. It's been excellent, you know. The way we've been looked after. Now they're working us very hard. We're up at 7 o'clock every morning, and we're not getting to bed until about 11 o'clock every night. So we're really, really tired only after 2 days. But we were in the JFK library today, and that was actually very, very interesting. I really enjoyed that, and that was a super interesting day in there. It was excellent, yeah.
What similarities do you see between Scituate and West Cork?
Well, West Cork has a very strong community spirit, and I see the same here. Everybody seems to know everybody else here, and it seems to be a very close-knit, tight community, and everybody seems to get stuck in and help out whenever something needs to be done. So that's one of the main similarities. Obviously, the maritime side of things is huge. We in West Cork have one of the longest maritime coasts of any county in Ireland. So Cork County Council is about 12% of the coastline of Ireland. So I think I see great similarities there. There also seems to be a large kind of artistic, creative side to Scituate, which West Cork is the capital, is the artistic capital of artists and creative people and writers, and I think there's huge similarities there. We've some of the best festivals in the whole of Ireland. We have the Taste of West Cork Food Festival, and there was a guest chef over from Scituate cooking for us in West Cork for that festival. But we also have a literary festival in Bantry, a music festival in Bantry, and a chamber music festival in Bantry. So it's really the festival capital of Ireland, really, yeah. So I think there's a lot of similarities between Scituate and West Cork in that regard.
What's your favourite thing about West Cork?
My favourite thing about West Cork is the people. The scenery is absolutely stunning. We have a lot of islands and peninsulas, so it's a very diverse type of topography, landscape, scenery. So we have some beautiful, rugged coastal drives, scenic routes, and but then we have some lovely lush gardens as well, because we're right by the Gulf Stream, which means our climate is much milder than anywhere else in Ireland. So we're able to grow kind of exotic plants and tropical plants that nowhere else in Ireland can grow. Well, I think there's huge similarities, right? And I think that, there's we were at the high school, at the middle school yesterday, and I'm chairman of Cork Education Training Board, which run all about 40 schools all over Cork, secondary schools, which would be similar to your middle school and high school. And I think there's going to be big opportunities for exchanges between students in Scituate and in Cork. So we're looking at Skibbereen maybe as the pilot to look at exchanges back and forth. And we were talking to one of the teachers up there who's over languages and international exchanges, and I think we're going to develop that. Certainly, I think that'd be great to get students from the high school here over, or from the middle school here over, and students from our school over here in their transition year, which allows them to experience work experience, leisure, hobbies, and all that kind of stuff. And part of it could be a trip to Scituate to experience life over here. I suppose the other thing then is the maritime side of it. I think we can learn a lot from each other on the maritime side of it. We've a new strategy now to develop our coastline into more usable marine leisure, and I suppose to try and put the infrastructure in place to allow us to exploit our coastline that much more from a tourism perspective and from a marine leisure perspective. And I suppose the other thing then is I think there's huge tourism possibilities for back and forth, like with the flight from Providence is excellent, and the connectivity is great in and out of Cork. So we're trying to develop that route, make sure it stays and that it's used, and I think this might be a kick-off point for that. We're also have a relationship with Providence and with Quincy, and I signed an economic agreement with the state of Maine only last week. So we're trying to cultivate a relationship with the whole New England area, and Scituate being part of that, so that we can build the strong links between New England and Cork.
Rita O'Connell, and I'm from Skibbereen in Ireland. I'm the youngest of 13 children, but none of them came to America. They all stayed in Ireland. So we're here on representing the Chamber of Commerce in Skibbereen.
Why don't you start by telling me your favourite thing you've done so far in Scituate?
Oh, it has to be the JFK Kennedy. That was amazing today. I think it's so poignant for Irish people. It brought back a lot of memories, and and in the actual place, it kind of the Irish were a really important part. We watched the video of him coming to Ireland, and it was like bringing his son back. It was fabulous. So yeah, that was. But the reception we've got so far since we came here, we feel like we're VIPs. So it's been amazing, So we're going to build a lot of relationships. We've already spoke to them about coming back to Ireland next May, and maybe organising maybe student swaps, which we have a new school in Skibbereen, and we haven't any student exchange at the minute. So we went to the school yesterday and spoke to the principal, and hopefully we're going to that's the first thing that we're going to organise is student exchange programme. Yeah.
What sort of similarities do you see between West Cork and Scituate?
I think, the people are very like us. It's amazing. I travel a lot, and I was just away this summer. Sometimes you go to places and you have no connection with people, but here it's like we already are part of this family, and everyone is saying if you come again you can stay, and we're offering to bring them back. And I think there's a great I didn't ever kind of understand this thing where Americans had this really kind of longing for the Irish, and to find out about their ancestry and all that. And now I understand it for the first time, really. You know what I mean? That connection that so many of them came over and never returned. So yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, I think I went to the pub yesterday and spoke to people, and now I'm already kind of pushing my kids to come here and to visit and looking for summer jobs and everything. So yeah, it's been fantastic, great.
Favorite thing about living in Ireland?
Community, I suppose, yeah. I am, there's like maybe in Skibbereen there's like 10 or 12 different organisations, but I suppose there's the same few of us are in them all, and everybody kind of rallies together and gets projects going and looks out for each other. Sometimes people can say that it's very parochial and it's very small, but at times when you need something and somebody, it's great. Like I have 2 children, 19 and 18, and it's really great to raise those kids in that kind of a community where they all look out for each other and there's a lot of good values there, so. We have a lot of similarities, and I think that we can offer the people here a lot of things that we do that they mightn't do here, that we could mentor them in different projects that we do. Like today we met Karen, for instance, now, and she's very involved with the youth, and she was saying she finds it very hard to get projects up off the ground, and we gave her a lot of tips. Like I was suggesting to her that maybe she should use retired people to mentor these young people. That's what we do back in Ireland, so I think she's kind of going to go and try that, so yeah. I would encourage, I think the world is such a small place now, and the connectivity is just amazing, that there is no reason why we can't work together economically and socially, so yeah.